There are several functions of kidney in the urinary system. First, it will help to eliminate waste by filtering the blood plasma and conserving useful substances in the body. Second, it will help to regulate the blood volume and pressure by excrete or conserve the water. Third, it will secrete erythropoietin hormone, which stimulate the production of red blood cells. Fourth, it will control the body fluid osmolarity by regulating the amount of water and solid eliminated. Lastly, it will help with acid-base balance regulation of body fluids. For the Islamic perspective, we must ponder the greatness of Allah's creation, as Allah created our body in a meticulous way, which human will never be able to create. It is related to one of Quranic verse in Surah Tin, verse 4, meaning, indeed, we created humans in the best form. Thus, it is our obligation to take care of our health by having an active lifestyle, such as regular exercise, consuming proper diet, and drinking a sufficient amount of water every day. This is one of our actions to show our gratitude to Allah as He bestows us His endless bounty. To conclude, we are responsible to take care of our body and well-being, as we will be accountable with our action by Allah in the Judgment Day.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Marina and I will explain about the gross anatomy of kidney and urinary bladder. First of all, the gross anatomy of the kidney can be divided into two parts, which is renal sinus and the renal parenchyma. The renal sinus is surrounded by renal parenchyma and contains blood and lymphatic vessels, nerves, and urine collecting structures. Adipose fills the remaining cavity and holds structures into place. As for the renal parenchyma, it is a glandular tissue that functions to form urine and appears as C-shape in the frontal section. The renal parenchyma consists of two zones, the outer renal cortex and the inner renal medulla. Besides that, in the renal parenchyma, there are renal columns, which are the extensions of cortex that project inward towards sinus, and the renal pyramids, which is shaped like cones with broad base facing cortex. The point of the renal pyramid is called the renal papilla, which faces the sinus. One pyramid and its overlying cortex is considered as one lobe of kidney. In the kidney, there is also a minor calyx, which is a cup that nestles the papilla of each pyramid, and 2 to 3 minor calyx will form a major calyx, whereby 2 to 3 major calyx will form the renal pelvis, and the renal pelvis is connected to the ureter. As for the gross anatomy of the ureter, it is a retroperitoneal muscular tube that extends from the kidney to the urinary bladder. It is about 25 to 30 cm long, and it passes posterior to the bladder and enters the bladder from below. The flap of mucosa acts as a valve to prevent backflow of urine.
The next organ in urinary system is urinary bladder. It is a hollow muscular organ and it is served as a reservoir of urine. It is located on the floor of pelvic cavity. Urinary bladder consists of 3 layers, which are mucosa, submucosa, and muscular layer. The mucosa layer consists of transitional epithelium and has numerous colobrugae. Meanwhile, the submucosa layer contains loose connective tissue with elastic fibers. Also, the muscular layer consists of the detrusor muscle. Typically, urine will enter into the bladder through the left and right ureters and exits via the urethra. Internally, these orifices are marked by the trigone. Trigone is a triangular area located within the fundus. It is formed by the 2 uretary orifices and the internal urethral orifice. Then, the next organ is urethra. Because the urethra is anatomically linked with the reproductive structures, its characteristics in males are quite different than those in females. In males, the urethra is 18 cm long, and it can be divided into 3 sections, which are the prostatic urethra, the membranous urethra, and the spongy urethra. But in females, the urethra is much shorter, which is just between 3 cm to 4 cm long. It is bound to the anterior wall of the vagina and consists of 2 sphincters, which are the internal urethral sphincter and external urethral sphincters. Also, in the female urethra, it has an external urethral orifice that lies between the vaginal orifice and clitoris.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Aisha and I will explain about the histology of ureters and urethra. This is cross-section of ureter. Ureter has 3 layers, an adventitia, muscularis, and mucosa. The level number 1 is adventitia. It is a loose connective tissue with blood vessels, nerve, and adipose cells. The level number 2 is muscularis. It is irregular arrangement of smooth muscle in two layers, which is inner longitudinal and outer circular in the upper ureter, and three layers at the near the bladder, which is inner longitudinal, middle circular, and outer longitudinal. And the level number 3 is the mucosa. Mucosa has transitional epithelium veins at minor calyx and extend through bladder. The folds of mucosa help to protect against reflux of urine when the bladder is full. And the last one, level number 4, is lumen. It is very narrow and easily injured by kidney stone. When the urine Next, I will explain about the histology of urethra. The level number 1 is urethra is lined by a stratified squamous epithelium of mucosa. And the level number 2 is lumen of urethra. The male urethra has three segments, which is prostatic, membranous, and spongy urethra. It is lined by epithelia of different types, and usually for prostatic urethra, it is transitional epithelium, membranous urethra, pseudostratified columnar epithelium, thick layers of skeletal muscle is present at the level of the external urethral sphincter. And for the spongy urethra, pseudostratified columnar epithelium, except for the terminal portion, which is stratified squamous epithelium. For the female urethra, it is short, and it is initially lined by transitional epithelium. As one moves away from the bladder, the epithelium becomes stratified squamous, and the mucosa is generally highly folded, and there may be some small glands. The muscularis consists of two layers of smooth muscle. Near the orifice, it is reinforced by striated muscle.
Okay, hi. My name is Atira binti Sri. So I will explain about the histology of the kidneys. So generally, kidneys have a tough fibrous capsule, which is an irregular dense connective tissue that is functioning for protection. Okay, based on the picture in the my map, there are renal corpuscle and the proximal convoluted tubules can be shown in this picture by irregular hollow shape, and the distal convoluted tubules shown by a picture that much proper irregular shape, which is slightly like a circular shape. Okay, next for the urinary bladder histology. Generally, it's formed by three layers of smooth muscle, and it is made of transitional epithelium. And based on the picture, we can see the dome cells on top of the transitional epithelium tissue. Okay, that's all from me. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Rubaya Jahan Sultan Aruhi. I will talk about renal corpuscle. It is a blood filtering component part of the nephron of the kidney. It consists of a knot of capillaries, which is the glomerulus, and the two-layered glomerular capsule, which is also known as the Bowman's capsule. The outer layer is called the peritoneal layer, consisting of simple squamous epithelium, and the inner layer, also known as the visceral layer, has podocytes. These podocytes are wrapped around the capillaries. Now these two layers are separated by the capsule layer. Now Sister Arisha will talk about renal tubules. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Arisha and I will talk about the type of epithelium lying in the structure of renal tubule in nephron. After the vitreous exits the renal corpuscle, it goes through renal tubule in the following order: proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, and collecting duct. The longest section of the renal tubule, which is the proximal convoluted tubule, features a simple tall cuboidal epithelium with a brush border of microvilli. The epithelium almost covers completely the lumen, and the microvilli multiply the surface area by 30 to 40 times. The loop of Henle consists of a descending limb having an initial short thick segment followed by a long thin segment, and ascending limb having a thin segment followed by a thick segment. The descending thick segment is lined by a simple cuboidal epithelium, while the descending thin segment is lined by a simple squamous epithelium. The ascending thin segment is also lined by simple squamous epithelium, and the ascending thick segment is lined by a simple cuboidal epithelium. From the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, the distal convoluted tubule continues into the cortex. The epithelial cells are cuboidal with a very few microvilli. Collecting ducts are lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Cytoplasm of collecting duct cells is relatively clear, and cells borders are usually distinct.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Urinary Shakira. Now I will continue with explanation about the distal glomerular apparatus or JG apparatus. JG apparatus is a specialized structure formed by the distal convoluted tubule and the glomerular afferent arteriole. It was located near the vascular pool of glomerulus. The function of the JG apparatus is to regulate blood pressure and the filtration rate of glomerulus. The JG apparatus has three special kinds of cells, which are macula densa, distal glomerular cell or JG cell, and mesangial cell. Macula densa is a patch of slender, closely spaced epithelial cell at the end of the nephron loop on the side of tubule facing the arteriole. Macula densa was functioned to send variation in flow or fluid composition and secrete a paracrine that stimulates JG cell. JG cells are enlarged smooth muscle cells in the afferent arteriole directly across from macula densa. When JG cells are stimulated by the macula densa, they dilate or constrict the arteriole. They also contain granules of renin, which they secrete in response to drop in blood pressure. Lastly, mesangial cells are cells in the cleft between the afferent and efferent arteriole and among the capillaries of the glomerulus. Mesangial cells were connected to macula densa and JG cell by gap junction and communicate by means of paracrine. They build a supportive matrix for glomerulus, constrict or relax capillaries to regulate flow.